Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to apply for the international rotation opportunities. If you are the final years of medical students around the world, this video will be super helpful for you if you are searching for a chance to go abroad to do your clinical rotation. Because I'm going to tell you from how to submit your application to how to strengthen your personal highlights or experience. For those friends who are new here, my name is Daniel and I'm the 6th grade medical student from Taiwan National Defense Medical Center. This channel is aimed to share my life in the medical school. And the good news is I'm going to do the international rotationship next year as part of my clinical programs in our school. And actually, I was elected by 5 different rotation programs around the world. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you which one is my final decisions and the reason why I picked that rotationship. So, what is the elective program? This is opportunities for the last year medical students to go abroad and have the rotations in the other countries, usually for 1 to 2 months. Almost every medical school in Taiwan has a similar courses like this, offering the students to bound the international relationships or to boost their English skills. However, before applying for this kind of opportunities, you should check the details with your own medical schools in case that you missed some important information and you lose some kind of the qualifications in your medical schools. I would recommend you to prepare earlier before the programs begin. Basically, there are several kinds of rotation opportunities to apply. As for the Taiwanese friend, you can pick the videos above. These videos I discuss about the exchange program which is held by the SCOPE in Taiwan in Mensa. But today what I'm going to share you about is the other rotation opportunities that you have to find it by yourselves, not assisted by the other organizations or your sister school. There are 2 main groups for overseas electives. I would divide it as the one who want to search for the opportunities in the US and the other who wants to search for the other clinical rotationship in the other countries. The main reason why I separate these 2 main groups is though for those medical students who want to go to the United States, most of them are searching for the chance to do the residency in the future as their medical career. Because the biggest benefits to apply for the United States rotation is that you might have the chance to receive a letter of recommendations, and it is super helpful for the IMG students like us when you are applying for the American residency. But the truth is that most of the opportunities in the US will require your medical school to join the committee which stands for the VSLO. As far as I know, there's only 2 medical schools in Taiwan have joined this committee. One is National Taiwan University and the other one is Kaohsiung Medical University. So I believe that the majority of the medical school overseas that they didn't join this committee like this. And if you ask me if there's still the chance to apply to the United States clinical rotation, the answer is yes, of course, just like the one I have applied for. However, this will be extremely competitive because the majority of the other medical school is not in the VSLO as well. So you have to compete with the other medical students all over the world. But if you are not really interested in applying for the United States residency, you can still apply for thousands or hundreds of medical schools all overseas. And also it will be less expensive comparing to take the rotation in the United States. During the last year, I applied for several rotationship all over the world, and fortunately, I got the 5 offers. The one in the United States, which is the Kansas Medical Center, and the one in the United Kingdom, which is Newcastle University, and the one in Australia, which is Melbourne Medical University, and the one in Australia also, the National Australia University. And also, the other one in Thailand, the name is the King Chulalongkorn Memorial Hospital. Yeah, so these are the 5 offers that I successfully received acceptance after I submit my applications last year. So now I will demonstrate the whole procedure from searching the application form to writing your own format email sending to the medical school. Okay, step 1, review the website. The most important thing is to open your laptop and search the website that is related to this program as early as possible. The reason is that you never know when the application will be occupied. So I recommend everyone that you apply 1 year previously as the date of your rotation begin. And here are some keywords for you to search for the related website. So first, you put your medical school that you anticipate to go in at the beginning, and you add the keywords, for example, like USCE for the one who wish to go to America. For the other, like you are not limited for searching the chance in United States, you can put, for example, like clinical electives program behind your medical school.
Okay, now let me show you how I usually search for the exchange program information. First, type the name of the school you are interested in into the searching bar. For example, I will use Kansas Medical Center. This is one of the few US medical schools that doesn't require you to join BSLO. To save time, you can add USCE after the school name. This will often bring up the relevant page, which you can click on. Most exchange program websites are pretty straightforward. They will guide you through the steps and let you know their current application status. For example, as of November 2024, this school isn't taking any application until the end of the next year. So yeah, the competition is tough. That's why I would recommend starting your research at least a year ahead. Next, let's check out the application process. It's usually broken down into stages, which a list of documents you need to prepare will list on the pages also. Some schools even charge an application fee. If you don't pay, they won't even look at your files. But don't worry, some programs don't charge a fee, so it's important to consider your budget when deciding how many schools to apply.
Okay, step 2, prepare yourself well. When you go through the website, you will find a list of the requirements that you have to meet, including the reputation of your own medical school, or some will require USMLE Step 1 for those rotationship in US, and some will even require your rotation experience in your own country. However, the most important one is your English proficiency level. Almost every rotation website will require you to submit your English test. For example, the 2 most common ones are the TOEFL test and the IELTS test. So you have better check out the website earlier so that you have enough time for preparing this English test. Take myself as example. I spent about 4 months to prepare this test, including waiting for the results. And fortunately, I achieved enough score in the TOEFL test, allowing me to apply for the rotationship that I want to.
Okay, now let's take Kansas Medical Center for example again. When you click on eligibility section, you can check if you meet their requirements for accepting students. For instance, it states that regardless of your education system, you must be a final year medical student to be eligible. There are also basic clinical rotations that you need to complete in your home country first. For non-native English speakers, they require a TOEFL or IELTS score for within the past 2 years. Therefore, before taking the test, it's a good idea to set a clear target score to make sure that you are preparing in the right direction.
Okay, step 3. Design your own curriculum vitae. After you finish all of the stuff, it's time for you to design your own individual curriculum vitae. Why is this so important is that it is really a crucial step for your professor to have the good first impression on you. Imagine that your professor or the one in the institutions will receive thousands of emails from all over the world. And what makes you stand out from those emails is your curriculum vitae. So a good curriculum vitae, which stands for a good CV, should include your brief introduction and a nice and clean photo, and the personal highlights of your own experience and your certifications.
Here's my self-made curriculum vitae, and I would like to share some key points with you. Besides your basic introduction and information, you can still put something more on your documents. For example, when listing your experiences, you can arrange your clinical rotations in a specific timeline. This way, it's clear to let others know what relevant knowledge you have already gained. Also, don't forget to include any leadership roles, certifications you have earned, or volunteer work you have done during your studies. These are great ways to showcase your extracurricular achievements. Lastly, make sure to highlight your language proficiency. I used an internationally recognized standard so that it's easy for others to understand my level. Oh, and make sure to watch until the end of this video. I will reveal how you can get this template for yourself.
Step 4. Email and wait for the results. The last step for the application is to send the email to the assigned email address. While writing the email, you should make the subject line clear and the content polite. Based on the same principle in the curriculum vitae, you can design the general format for your own email so that you can save a lot of time writing the disorganized emails and sending out to the one that you already forget which institution you applied for.
Here's a practical template I have written for your reference. First, you will notice a clear subject line. Then, right at the beginning of the letter, you should express your strong passion and motivation for a specific specialty. Next, do some basic research about the hospital and the exchange program you are applying for. Explain why you are interested in applying, what you hope to learn, and what aspects of the hospital appeal to you the most. That's essentially what a solid application letter should cover. It's versatile and can be adapted for various applications.
Last but not least, you should keep the deadline in mind so that if you haven't received the reply for priority, you always have the second options. Because usually it would take really a long time for you to receive the acceptance from the medical schools. Some schools don't even explicitly announced the deadline or the period that they expected to send you back the reply. Therefore, it is really important for you to establish your own boundaries and to prioritize your choices in advance. After you have done all of these stuff, it's up to the time and your fate to make the final decision of which clinical elective you have been accepted.
For example, here's how it went for me with the school. I submitted my application and paid the fee on January 28 this year, planning for an exchange in early 2025. However, I didn't receive any official acceptance letter until this September, nearly 8 months later. Of course, this was just one of the schools that I applied to. During the wait, I got offers from the other programs also. So it's really about balancing your options and figure out what works best for you.
Okay, so now it's time for me to announce my final decisions of my rotationship. Final one that I'm going to is Newcastle University in England. Here is some of my consideration of my rotationship abroad. First of all, I would like to choose the English country because I believe that if you are not familiar with their native language, it's hard for you to connect it with the local patients and to understand which the common language that the physicians or the nurse use in their jobs. So you can say that the countries that use English will be in my priority. For the second reason why I choose England is the rotation fees. Yeah, honestly. Newcastle University required like the 8,000 NT dollars for the rotation fees and about 30,000 NT dollars for the accommodation fees. And that seems to be relatively affordable for me to handle. If you are searching for the United States clinical rotation, it will cost you like about 3 to 5 times more expensive. And the third reason why I choose Newcastle University is the attitude from the assistant that I contact through the email. The Newcastle assistant she reply me almost every day, and she is really active for helping me to solve the problems that I meet while applying or handing out my documents. The only thing you have to do is to email the assistant, and they will help you to match the professor in the separated hospital, and they will tell you your final result and the email address from the professor so that you can contact your supervisor as early as possible. So that's the key point that I think Newcastle University do really a great job for attracting the overseas students to apply their clinical elective program. The final things that I want to share about is I believe that every international students will have to decide whether they want to choose the hands-on experience or the observer experience. Because as the undergraduate students from the medical school, almost every rotation programs will allow you to do the hands-on experience. I think that's the biggest benefit for the students before becoming the physicians to explore the other country medical system, because it means that you can approach the patients by yourself individually or being supervised by your senior doctors. And that's crucially important for me because I would like to know more about the medical system thoroughly through approaching the patients, doing the physical examination, or even taking history from their parents. Okay, so to sum this video up, I will glad to tell everyone, like I'm going to share my own curriculum vitae template for all of you.
First, head over to my Instagram and you will find this post. Step 1. Make sure to subscribe my channel. Next, share this post to your Instagram story. Finally, just leave any comment under the post and I will send you an email with a personal CV template and the application letter template mentioned in the video. I hope these resources will support you in making your application process more efficient and successful.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's videos, and don't forget to follow me on my Instagram so that you can check out my daily life in Newcastle University next year in January. And if there's any sponsors, feel no pressures to give me some support through the link down here. Your support will be my biggest motivation to film the videos better and to let the other people know more about the clinical elective programs over the seas. If there's any industry or any factories that would like to sponsor my videos, just click the link down here. Thanks for watching today's videos, and I will see you guys in United Kingdom.